For me, as Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Housing, Settlements and Water Resource Management, it is indeed a pleasure for me to be in Silver Lake with you this afternoon and to be associated with the launch of your housing initiative. For you, the residents of Silver Lake, today is a very important occasion. Not only because you have distinguished people in your presence, and I'm sure you are happy to have, we must say, the full of cabinet with you here this afternoon, but more importantly, the nation is focusing on Silver Lake this afternoon. Silver Lake is really in the spotlight. And why is Silver Lake in the spotlight? It is because something very positive is happening in Silver Lake. My understanding is that the majority of the adult population of Silver Lake moved here after Hurricane David. And while some of you, after Hurricane David, you have done some major improvements to your living conditions, we also recognize that some residents face some challenges with shelter. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Lands, Housing, Settlements and Water Resource Management has been collaborating with other ministries, namely Finance and Social Services, to ensure that we attempt to improve your living conditions. We know the value of a roof over one's head. We all appreciate it. But this initiative that we are launching here this afternoon is much more than providing you with a roof. It is really a process which will involve a full set of other interventions. Those interventions will involve health development, focusing on environmental health, economic activity as we are concerned about your employability and your employment state, social and cultural development, educational enhancement, and some of these have already begun in the community, and of course, improving the physical environment in which you currently reside. We are therefore indeed pleased, as I said, to be collaborating with other partners in the exercise as we seek to bring hope to you, the residents of Silver Lake. I therefore call on you to play your part, because we alone can do it. You have a very vital role to play in the process, and you are really key in this development process. With those brief remarks, I haven't done the welcome. Someone who is better suited to do the welcome is going to do that this afternoon, and I have the distinct pleasure to call to the microphone Miss Esther Bello, who is the chairperson of the Silver Lake Development Committee. Let's welcome the chairperson.
Silver Lake is a community where we have overcome a lot in the past, and right now we can boast of the numerous programs done by the different stakeholders to develop the minds of the adults and children with this. With this, I invite you all to support our ongoing jewelry program, which is done at the Roseau Primary School with the great help of Child Fund Caribbean, Ms. Kathy Sorrendo, principal and staff, and a big thank you to all. It is said that in order to foster great values in children, one has to work with home, school, and community. And today we are seeing this with the strong presence of those who are gathered here for this occasion. To my fellow residents, let's embrace the opportunities that are given to us. This housing constructions is a change for us who have been there from the beginning. So we thank the government of Dominica for fulfilling their commitment. We are glad that a few residents have gained employment and hope in the future more will be employed on this said project. Lastly, I would like to quote from Marianne Williamson. In every community, there is work to be done. In every nation, there are wounds to be healed. In every heart, there is the power to do it. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bello, for these very warm words of welcome and reminding us that the power really lies in the people, and so it lies in the people of Silver Lake to see this project move forward. I now invite to the microphone Mr. Hilarion Jules, who is at the helm of the Housing Division, to give a brief overview to what we are involved in.
Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Honorable Minister for Lands, Housing, Settlements and Water Resource Management, Honorable Reginald Austri, Honorable Ambrose George, Minister for Information, Constituency Empowerment and also PAL Rep, for the Roseau South constituency, which includes Silver Lake, Honorable Gloria Shillingford, Minister for Social Services. I greet all the members of Cabinet, all the permanent secretaries, heads of division, the Silver Lake Development Committee members. I greet you, educators who've been working along with the Silver Lake community, staff of the Ministry of Social Services, staff of the Housing Division and the Ministry of Housing, by extension, the media, invited guests, one and all. Shelter, as it is known, includes but is not limited to the provision of safe, healthy, and comfortable living environment for the people of a community and the activities that they are involved in. Various studies and assessments have pointed to the need for improved shelter in the Silver Lake community. The Housing Division of the Ministry of Lands, Housing, Settlement, and Water Resource Management was therefore mandated to develop a plan of action for intervention in the improvement of the housing needs of Silver Lake. Additionally, a center to facilitate improved economic and social activities is to be factored in the master plan. A major challenge for undertaking the desired works is the fact that some residents will need to be relocated to facilitate demolition and construction works. In order to mitigate this challenge, it was proposed that the partially vacant lands opposite and to the north of Silver Lake, that is on the other side of this main artery road, it was proposed that this portion of land be utilized for the construction of apartment buildings. In September of 2011, the Housing Division developed a prototype building design and proposed a site layout for the site just mentioned. Working drawings were developed and an application for planning permission was submitted to the Physical Planning Division. It is well documented that projects are thwarted with risk and uncertainties. This statement held very true for the proposed site. Therefore, after much deliberation, site visits, and discussions, it was agreed that the advice of the Physical Planning Division that the proposed site on the other side of the road be considered unsuitable for this type of development, and that advice was accepted. The plan, therefore, had to be shelved, unfortunately, and new plans for Silver Lake housing project had to be drawn up. We were now back with the challenge of limited available lands, and in March of 2012, directives were issued to seek planning approval for the construction of an apartment within the existing Silver Lake community. The site at the entrance of the community was selected since it was partially vacant, and the fact that this particular site is at the entrance of the community, it is believed that this was ideal for beautifying the face of Silver Lake and showcasing it as a model to be replicated within the rest of the community and indeed throughout the country. However, we will face challenges again. There were two houses with two families resident on part of the said lots at the entrance. The Ministry of Lands, Housing, Settlements, and Water Resource Management has since facilitated the relocation of the two families in temporary accommodation. A young private architectural firm, New Vision Architecture, with its proprietor, Mr. Burgess Stout, had previously presented a concept design for the said location at the entrance of Silver Lake. Therefore, in order to save time in the production of architectural drawings, the firm was engaged to develop the design into working drawings. The designs offered what we have today, with the building in the form of a duplex style, offering 6 apartment units at 3 levels. The upper 2 levels will comprise 4 2-bedroom units with kitchen, bathroom, living dining room, and an entry porch. The lowest level will comprise 2 1-bedroom units with the other amenities mentioned above. The structural engineering drawing designs were initially done by staff of the Housing Division. Revision of some and some redesigning of the structures were conducted by staff of the Technical Services Division of the Ministry of Public Works. Special mention must be made here of Mr. Emil Lancelot Jr., senior engineer, who stamped and signed the engineering drawings on behalf of the Housing Division. The firm of quantity surveying consultants with its proprietor, Mr. Eric James, was engaged for the preparation of bills of quantities and estimates. Mention must also be made here of one of our main collaborators, to whom we are very grateful for the tremendous services offered, and I refer here to the Lands and Surveys Division. The planning phase of the project progressed with 6 building contractors being shortlisted, names submitted for approval, and subsequent issuance of bids, thus inviting the contractors to tender for the project. All 6 contractors returned their bids, and the construction company of Mr. Felix Thomas was approved for award of the contract. Site clearing and demolition of the existing structures commenced on Thursday, September 26, 2013. Substructure works, that is foundation, have commenced, and the project is on schedule to be completed in January of 2014. Supervision and monitoring of the works is being undertaken by staff of the Housing Division. In addition to the apartment building outlined, forming phase 1 of the project, consideration is being given to the construction of a small business incubator to be located immediately to the east of the apartment. This adjoining facility will serve to accommodate residents of Silver Lake who have recently acquired various skills to set up small shops, thus improving economic activity within the community. We are very happy that the implementation phase of this much anticipated project is now well underway. We express thanks to all who have collaborated with us and assisted us thus far. We graciously implore the cooperation of all as we continue to work for the improvement of the standard of shelter in Silver Lake and Dominica by extension. I thank you very much.
It is with a sense of achievement that I stand here today to be part of this historic groundbreaking ceremony, which marks the commencement of the construction of a housing complex for the residents of Silver Lake. The community of Silver Lake was born out of need to find alternative locations for the settlement of people after the onslaught of Hurricane David in 1979. The government of the day built what we refer to as longhouses to accommodate the residents. Apart from one longhouse, which was completely reconstructed in recent years, no tangible efforts were undertaken to address the housing needs of the people of Silver Lake. I need to point out the fact that the reconstruction of the longhouse in question, and in particular the washroom and laundry facility, were done under my stewardship as a parliamentary representative for Silver Lake. Credit must also be given to the Dominica Rotary Club, who assisted in the construction of the washroom. What is evident today is that the Dominica Labour Party administration, under the leadership of Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett, is breaking ground to begin the real process of transformation of the housing needs of the people of Silver Lake. This new complex, which will comprise of 4 2-bedroom and 2 1-bedroom facilities, will make a very significant change in the lives of at least 6 families who in turn will say they now own a decent home. Your government has always viewed the community of Silver Lake as a special area because of the circumstances of the people who reside here. We have people in the age range of 1 year to 78 years old. We have both employed as well as unemployed people residing here. We have several young ladies who are very industrious and have taken the opportunity to be trained in several skills, including pedicure and manicure, business, social, and computer skills. We have students who are doing very well at school. And here today, I must mention Carla Lawrence and Tina Toussaint, who obtained bursaries at the Grade 6 National Assessment exams earlier this year. Congratulations to you. Your Labour Party government, since the inception of the School Assistance Program, has ensured that at the beginning of every school year, all students of Silver Lake are given school books and uniforms so that every child of school age attends school. Since 2000, as parliamentary representative, I have held Christmas parties every year for the children of Silver Lake so that they have an equal opportunity to enjoy the Christmas season. I have spoken on these matters to indicate the number of interventions that the government and your parliamentary representative have undertaken on behalf of the people of Silver Lake. The greatest of all interventions, however, is the construction of this new housing complex, which is valued at some $1 million. The question, therefore, is how this is going to impact the lives of the people of Silver Lake. To begin with, during the construction period, it is expected that both men and women will be employed. It is my understanding that the contractor intends to engage a two-shift system in order to employ a larger number of persons. The provision of this new housing facility will assist in improving the general aesthetics of the area, but more so will lend to the improvement of the esteem and prestige of the residents, but in particular the intended occupants of the new homes. The residents who will be displaced will create the avenue for the demolition of one of the old longhouses to make way for the next phase of the housing initiative in Silver Lake. I know that the residents of Silver Lake are extremely happy that this is the only government which has given so much attention to the alleviation of poverty and the social well-being of the people in this area and in the country generally. I also know that the residents of Silver Lake will continue to appreciate what your government and your parliamentary representative are doing for you and your families in transforming your lives and creating opportunities for you and your future generations. I wish to thank the Minister for Finance, the Ministry of Housing, in particular the Housing Division, the Ministry of Social Services, the Ministry of Public Works, for their role in taking us thus far. I also wish to thank the contractor for the implementation of the project and for his vision in engaging a two-shift system of work in order to fully engage the skilled men and women of Silver Lake and the surrounding areas. Today is in fact a historic day, and I want to take the opportunity to say to you, the people of Silver Lake, that this government cares about you. Your parliamentary representative cares about you. And I would not leave the podium this afternoon if I didn't address my Silver Lake girls. How are you doing today? All right, thank you very much. Well, may God bless us. May God bless the community of Silver Lake. May God bless Dominica. I thank you very much.
The media. Today is indeed a joyous occasion for me and the people of Silver Lake as we launch the Silver Lake Housing Initiative. This is a day to rejoice, since you can now say that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel for improved and better living condition for all of you. I am therefore delighted to give remarks on this special occasion. I say special because as Minister for Social Services, Community Development, and Gender Affairs, we have worked tirelessly with the people of Silver Lake, engaging them in positive activities whereby they are now considered to be special friends of the Ministry of Social Services. To all the residents of Silver Lake and well-wishers of the people of Silver Lake, you have waited patiently and with faith, knowing that this day would come. I commend you for the patience and belief in this Labour Party government. This Silver Lake Housing Initiative is a demonstration of this government's commitment to transforming this community of Silver Lake into one which will be a model to replicate in other parts of Dominica. In the meantime, we are pleased that you have been welcoming the work that the Division of Adult Education and BNTF have been doing with you as it relates to skills development in cosmetology, food preparation, basic electricity, basic plumbing, computer literacy, sewing, social skills, and business skills. In fact, we have learned that a group of you has launched out into practical use of the training you have received and now offer cosmetology and sewing to persons in and around your community. We are indeed very proud of you, and I say to you again, congratulations. I wish to encourage all of you to see this training as stepping stones to higher heights and greater things to come for the people of Silver Lake. Be motivated to continue to develop yourselves and continue to be role models for those who need to be transformed into more positive individuals with an inclination towards self-development and action for the improvement of their overall development and that of the community of Silver Lake. I call on all able-bodied persons of Silver Lake to take advantage of this opportunity and make a difference in your life and the lives of your family, and by extension, the community of Silver Lake. Let me also say to you, in tough times, decisions have to be made in a practical way to achieve the overall goal, and in this case, the construction of new homes for all the families who reside in Silver Lake. We wish to encourage you to play your role in this venture. I therefore call upon you to rally around the contractor, Mr. Felix Thomas, and his team, and ensure that the work progresses smoothly and without interruption from those who do not wish to see change happen in Silver Lake. Be the watchdog for this project and get involved and participate in whatever way possible. And I call upon the Silver Lake Improvement Committee to keep the spirit of the community alive and active throughout the duration of the project. We have begun a path to success, and we want you to be a part of it. Be committed and do not be easily turned off when challenges confront you. Rather, be prepared to unite as a group to meet your challenges head on. At this point, let me take the opportunity to thank all who have been instrumental in getting us thus far. The good Lord above, who gives us strength and health to serve others. the PS and the staff of the Ministry of Housing, my own very staff at local government, adult education and BNTF, and the PS Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs. The parliamentary representative, my colleague, Honorable Ambrose George, who worked tirelessly to see this project come to pass. The Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, a champion for the vulnerable and neglected, one whose doors and heart is ever open to receive you. Most of all, to you, people of Silver Lake, a resilient people and one filled with hope and desire to see yourselves become successful. Let me wish the contractor success in the implementation of this project, and I look forward with anticipation to the completion of a new set of houses for the people of Silver Lake. God bless the people of Silver Lake, and God bless Dominica. Thank you.
I recall it was about some 3 years ago when the Prime Minister, the parliamentary representative, a number of government officials and myself paid a visit here in Silver Lake, especially to look at the housing conditions here in Silver Lake. And after that visit, for those of you who know me well know I'm a very emotional person. I was close to tears when we saw the condition under which some of the residents of this community were living. And it was not only the housing conditions, but other conditions which I'll not mention here today. And from thenceforth, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, the Cabinet started working on a strategy to improve the lives and the living conditions of the residents of Silver Lake. I will admit, though, that there were some initiatives that were being taken then, but had we not intervened as a government, we would not have come thus far. And so we planned strategies for housing, for education, for health and sanitation. And as Mr. Jules said, our focus on Silver Lake, we hope to serve as a pilot project and to move throughout the country, improving the lives of the residents of those very small and vulnerable communities. And so we are here today as a government to bring new hope to the people of Silver Lake and to bring new energies to the people of Silver Lake and to ask you to not despair, do not give up, because we're now on the roll. And Mr. Jules again explained to you some of the challenges and difficulties we had in moving this project forward, including a change of site. And I can say to you that the Prime Minister always had concerns about the previous site. But you know, sometimes you have to yield to technicians and engineers and all these people who went to big school and who learned the trade. But sometimes it comes back that even the layman have a story to tell and you must listen to him. So here we are at the site, making the dream of the Silver Lake people a reality this afternoon. I want to say to you that this is not a promise, this is not a wish, but it's a project that is already on its way and work have in fact started. So you, the people of Silver Lake, can be reassured that we will take this first phase of the project to completion. I understand by January, which I believe is ambitious, but we'll see what happens. It was about 10 years ago that the government of Dominica embarked on a journey to improve the housing conditions throughout the country. And housing conditions in terms of the quality of housing that existed at the time and to improving the housing stock. At that time, many things were said, many things are still being said, and I guess many things will continue to be said. But this program, which we call the Housing Revolution, it attracted many attentions. Some people thought it was a complete waste of time, and the government was going into areas where few governments had attempted to go. And at the appropriate time, we'll come back here in Silver Lake, and we'll tell you who these people were who thought that government had no right in securing a roof for the poor and vulnerable people of this country. There were some people who were skeptical because the project was housing evolution, was very ambitious. They thought it would not be sustainable, and they thought it wasn't going to happen. And there were some people who thought it was a very good idea and the government should pursue. But after 10 years, the housing revolution continues, and we have given a commitment to the people of Dominica that it will in fact continue well into the future. Very ambitious program, including several strategies: squatter regularization, construction of homes, making lots available, building new homes, building apartment complexes. And if I'm to stay here and to detail all these strategies with you this afternoon, it will probably be until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'll just probably highlight a few of them just so you can recollect. There's a thing that says that Dominicans have very short memories, and so we need to keep reminding you because we forget very quickly. We first started in 2003 in Belleville-Chopin, but we had some families that were threatened by the landslides, and there were about 8 families that were very, very vulnerable. And the government spent some $2.5 million in relocating those residents, including purchasing the lands on which those 9 houses were constructed. Those houses are elevated, meaning that there is space and scope for building your downstairs because you lived on the upstairs. And 8 of these houses were given free of charge, and the land was given free of charge to those residents, and the additional free was sold below the market value to other residents of Belleville-Chopin. You also had 31 houses that were constructed in Hillsborough Garden, St. Joseph, at a cost of $4.5 million. Again, the price of those houses were revised from $175,000, which was already below the market value, to as low as $150,000 for the residents of St. Joseph. In the Caribbean territory, with funding from the Venezuelan government, we constructed 41 houses. 30 of those were given totally free of charge to the people of the Caribbean territory, and another 10 were sold at $30,000. Each house was valued at $120,000. We're now in the final phase of constructing 27 houses with funding from the government of China. 15 of those have already, 21 are completed, 15 have been given out free of charge. The balance have been sold at $30,000. The value of these houses is $127,000 per house. We have made available in Point Michelle over 42 lots at $7.50 a lot. When we got in 2000, those lots were promised to the people of Point Michelle at $14. The government has reduced that to $7.50 for the people of Point Michelle. Under the Petro Casa program, of the 50 houses that were supposed to be completed, we have completed 40. They have been allocated free of charge to the residents of the various communities where we have those Petro Casas, including Granby, Trafalgar, Stock Farm, and Portsmouth, totally and completely free of charge. And the government recently took a decision to sell the land to those people at $1 per square foot. So in fact, they will be paying $1 a square foot for the land, but the house is given to them totally free of charge. We've also regularized over 300 families in Silver Lake, in Tarish Pit, in Portsmouth, all over the country at $1 square foot, giving persons an opportunity to own their own lands and to use their certificate of titles for the betterment of their families. In Cotton Hill in Portsmouth, we have already subdivided over 175 lots, which we are now in the final stages of survey, and those lots will be made available to the people of Portsmouth, Glanvilla, and in fact from the entire north at a price determined by the government through the valuation unit of the government of Dominica. In Glanvilla, Georgetown, 10 acres of land has been identified in the Georgetown area, and we are in the process of doing the subdivision and seeking to make those lands available to the people of Glanvilla very, very, very shortly. at a price to be determined by the valuation unit of the government of Dominica. And by the cabinet. And an additional 3 acres have been identified in an area called Mountain, which will also be subdivided and made available to the people of Granville at a price determined by the cabinet of Dominica. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen the extent of the investment of this country in the housing development for the people of this country. We have renovated about 3,000 homes have been renovated all across the country. And in this year's budget, $5 million have been put aside for the continuation of the home renovation and sanitation program. $1.3 million have already been spent, and we're hoping that very shortly another $1.7 million will be made available to the Ministry of Housing, that the housing renovation and sanitation program can in fact continue. But today, the spotlight is on Silver Lake. This first phase of the project includes the construction of the first apartment building. The intention is to construct 5 more of those buildings and a resource center for the community of Silver Lake. We want to thank the people of Silver Lake for their cooperation. In fact, you heard that 2 families had to be moved, had to be relocated at a cost of about $10,000 to $15,000 provided by the government of Dominica. The government is in discussions with the WASCO on the improved sanitation in terms of the sewage disposal for Silver Lake. As you're well aware, you're on the banks of the Roseau River, and in the event of any undesired event, we're not sure what's going to happen to the river from Silver Lake and going downwards. And so we are discussing with the WASCO to ensure that in the medium to long term, Silver Lake will be connected to the Roseau sewage system, so everything will pass through the Roseau sewage system, thus enhancing the environment and making the Roseau River and the community less vulnerable to accidents of that nature. Projects such as these in small communities have great and lasting impact, not only on this present generation, but on the future generation. And I want to say that this project is a gift to the people of Silver Lake from the cabinet of Dominica. Because as I understand it, those housing units will be made free of charge to the residents of Silver Lake. So now that the housing needs are in fact being addressed, I believe we should spend some more time focusing on the other social interventions that needs to be taken to make Silver Lake, or to bring Silver Lake up to speed with any other community in Dominica. You're Dominicans, you have earned your right to decent housing, decent education, decent healthcare, and this government promises that as long as you continue to put your trust in us, we'll continue to deliver to you, the people of Silver Lake. In conclusion, I would like to thank all the partners who have collaborated with us in bringing us thus far, not only for the Silver Lake project, but for the housing revolution, of which much will be said for a very long time. We would like to thank the government of Venezuela, the government of China, the Caribbean Development Bank, the Aid Bank, the Government Housing Loans Board, the Minister of Finance, Roosevelt Skerritt, who always have a personal hand in those developments. He has a vision, and I think he sees much clearer than many of us in this country. And so most of these projects are derived, really, the concepts and the ideas come from the Prime Minister and developed with his cabinet of ministers. We do thank the Ministry of Social Services, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Public Works Department, Honorable Ambrose Judge, who was very, very instrumental in seeing this project to where it is today. The Property Evaluation Unit, the WASCO, and the staff of the Ministry of Housing. And like the PM said, the PS said, I push hard, I push very hard, but it's not personal, it's just that we have work to do, and we don't have a lot of time in which to do it, so there's not much time for play, fun, and frolic. It's a very small ministry, but very hardworking, and has great impact on the population and the people of Dominica. I want to say to the contractor, and I know that Felix Thomas is a good contractor, but I've asked my staff to pay daily visits to that project. The quality must not be compromised. The strength must not be compromised. The people of Silver Lake deserve the very best that you can produce. And you should make this project a flagship project, Mr. Thomas. Because if you fall short, if you disappoint the government, if you disappoint the people of Silver Lake, then somebody will have your head for lunch, dinner, and breakfast. A song and a warning to the contractor that you have to deliver the best that you have ever delivered. And the spotlight is on you. My staff will be on your case morning, noon, and night to ensure that we get a quality project. So, residents of Silver Lake, last time I left, I was crying. This time I really laughing and smiling all the way back to my office. Because a project that I've been working on, a project that is passionate to me, is now being delivered right before your very eye. So, I want to thank the government, the Minister of Finance, and everybody else who made this project possible. I want to continue as a resident of Silver Lake to be patient. Good things come to those who wait. May God continue to bless you. May God continue to bless our country. May God continue to bless the government of Dominica. Thank you very much.
I am very happy to be here this evening, to be part of this very important initiative by the government of Dominica. All of us know that Silver Lake was almost a forgotten community in this country. In many respects, they were looked down upon. And it was through this government's intervention, through the Dominica Labour Party government's intervention, the Silver Lake community has been given tremendous attention and resources spent in an effort to addressing the social and economic challenges confronting this community. We embarked on a massive program of assisting all the school children with books, uniforms, school bags, and what have you, to ensure that they could get the resources they need to attend school and take advantage of the opportunity. And when we came there, as Mr. Oscar indicated, and we recognized the poor housing condition, we took a decision then that the government shall come back to fix the poor housing condition confronting the residents. And I'm very happy to be here to be part of the commencement of the first phase of this housing initiative. And oftentimes we hear people, particularly in opposition, criticizing the government for helping poor people. And I've said publicly and otherwise that we do not only have a moral responsibility as a government, as a people, to help poor people, but we have a biblical and Christian responsibility to help the poor among us. And for those who continue to chastise the government and to make the beneficiaries of government assistance believe that they are lesser of a people, you shall pay the price when we all have to go before the good Lord and answer for our actions on it. Because for me as an individual, it is my responsibility as a citizen of Dominica, not only as Prime Minister, but to assist people who are in need of help. And the good Lord has placed me there to do just that. And this is why I have used the resources of the state and resources that I have gone out as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to raise. I have spent it on the people of this country. Because at the end of the day, all of us must use our leadership wherever we are in life to help him make people's lives better. It is not about using our authority to speak down on people or to denigrate people, or to believe that people are less than us. It's about elevating and uplifting people to get out of their struggles. And this morning I was at the State College presenting a check of $100,000 to go towards the payment of tuition fees for students in need. And when I visited the structure, the new structure that we spent some $30 million on, and I reflected on my days as a student at the Sipoko, and I further reflected on my days as a lecturer at the Sipoko, to know under the conditions under which I attended school and the condition under which I taught at this institution. And we have used as a government our opportunity to not only create more space for our students, because in 2002, the study showed that only 7% of high school graduates in this country had access to the college. 7%. Today, we have seen tremendous strides in creating access for our young boys and girls to attend the college. And even by giving a check of $100,000 to assist needy children, the opposition in Dominica is criticizing the action of the government and the Prime Minister. So what some people would like to see happen in this country is that people continue to struggle with no help, poor people get poorer, and our children will not go to school because the parents cannot afford, and the government is watching these people. And you must not forget that it is this same government that introduced a policy to provide free medical care to everybody 18 and younger, and everybody 60 and over. And I have heard elements in and characters within the opposition indicate that if they were to become the government, they would privatize the hospital. Now, when you go and you privatize the only hospital we have in the country, you must tell the people of Dominica how are they going to afford medical services if you're going to take away this policy of free medical care to people of Dominica. And when we should be speaking about universal access to healthcare, we're talking about taking the access to free medical care from those who are already benefiting. And I'm here in this wonderful community of Silver Lake. And I can tell you, rest assured, my dear friends here, I have many, many friends here, that this government will not turn its back on you. We made a promise to you, we came here, we made a promise to you, and we are delivering on this very important promise to improve your housing condition. Because those of you who have been here, and you have seen these long houses, and the conditions in which people live in, there's no way we can come as anybody and criticize the government's intervention in this community. They will say about politics and elections. As far as I'm concerned, elections are not even yet on my mind. But if people want to have elections, then I can give it to them. I can give it to them. Because I went to Capuchin to church on Sunday. I stopped in Georgetown, Portsmouth, which belongs to the Labour Party, contrary to what people say. And I'm saying to the people of Georgetown and the Member of Parliament here that the government will provide the lands that are required for the people of Georgetown. So those who want to go and walk up and down Georgetown and believe that they will get better if they're walking up and down Georgetown, then they can change their mind. And we are here in this part of Silver Lake to make a very important contribution to development. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at the Newtown Primary School, we shall be signing the contract for a new primary school for Newtown. A brand new primary school for Newtown, which has in it, to address the issues confronting people with disabilities, elevators to take you to the second floor, to the third floor, and to the fourth floor, and take you back to the first floor. Totally financed as a gift by the government of the People's Republic of China. So, in times when the entire world is grappling with challenges, the United States, France, Germany, United Kingdom, Spain, all of these countries and all the countries in the CARICOM are having challenges. And we're here launching a project. Tomorrow we go to Newtown, a new school. And there are many things happening in many parts of Dominica. The Ministry of Health has been in negotiations with the Chinese side to finalize and formalize the new designs for the hospital. A new hospital that will enhance the delivery of medical services to our citizens. All projects and programs geared at making the lives of Dominicans better. And those who talk about when they were in office for 4.5 years, that there was milk and honey in Dominica, they must show us how they spend that milk and honey to improve the lives of people of Dominica during the 4.5 years they were in office. Because when monies were placed at the aid bank for people in Dominica to get loans, to improve their businesses, ministers of government were the ones, and their friends were the ones contracting loans at the aid bank under this venture capital fund. You understand? No, they know themselves. I don't have to call names tonight. So when they're referring us back to the 4.5 years, we have to look at the whole gamut of everything. What did they do here in Silver Lake for the people of Silver Lake? And I'm not in the business as a politician to come make promises to people that I can't keep. And if you look at my record as Prime Minister of this country, and my record as the Dominican Labour Party leader, every time I have made a promise to the people of Dominica, I have delivered and kept my promise to the people. And when we come and we talk about projects and programs, when we tell you that we shall do this as we were going to do in the Newtown Primary School, we tell you how we're going to finance it. Because it is easy for anybody in this country to come to say that they will do this for you and do that for you. But the question must ask them, sir, how do you intend to finance that which you're promising me? Tell us. Because if you are not going to tax the people more, and you do not like Venezuela, you do not like China, who are our major benefactors, then you must tell the people of Dominica how you intend to raise the financing for this country and to do the kind of things that you're promoting. So when they come and talk about an airline and they criticize us for putting $3 million into Liat, then tell us what type of planes you're going to buy. Are you going to buy ATRs? Are you going to buy the Dash 8s? What are you going to buy? You know, in school you used to make this little paper plane and you send it across the classroom. Might be that's what they're going to build. Might just be this little paper plane they're going to build for this country and send it across the classroom and so forth. And they talk about education is important. All of us grew up knowing that our parents told us that education is the key to success. That notwithstanding our station in life, we must always aspire to acquire knowledge. And now they're telling young people that education is not important. And they're going on to tell young people at a time when young people, all of us who went to school, back in the days in vehicles, you used to march, and at the end of the march, they give you a glass of grapefruit juice and a bun. We should be excited to march to get this bun and this orange juice, grapefruit juice. Students now are crying to march. They want to be part of this national pride, to show to the world and to their parents and to the colleagues how pleased I am to march on National Youth Day. And the opposition is calling on children of Dominica and their parents to tell them to boycott the National Youth Rally. I mean, there is politics and there is national responsibility. We cannot treat everything from a partisan standpoint. To tell children that we should not stand when the president walks in, and some of us remain quiet about this thing. How can we tell children that we should not respect, or tell ourselves we should not respect the institution called the presidency? What kind of people are we talking about who want to lead this country? So I am very happy to be here to see my wonderful people here in Silver Lake. And rest assured, my dear friends, I shall provide supervision of the minister and the ministry to ensure they give you a good job there. And my friends know where my office is. And if there are problems, they will tell me. So they will certainly come and tell me what's happening there and what's not happening to their satisfaction. I want to thank the minister responsible. I want to commend the efforts of the Member of Parliament who continue to raise the concern in Cabinet to ensure that we could have started much earlier. I want to thank the Permanent Secretary and the staff of the Housing Division, and to thank my Financial Secretary, who, when I suspect she hears all of this pronouncement by the Minister of Finance, gets a little worried and so forth. But the good thing about it is that we believe that the good Lord will always provide. And when we make a promise, we'll go to him and ask him to provide, and he does provide. So my strength cometh from the Lord, and I am just an instrument of the Lord on earth, doing what I can with the little resources that he has given to us. It is a matter for us to show appreciation to him for what he's doing. But people must not curse development. People must not curse efforts to elevating or uplifting the poor. People must not be envious of what a poor person has received. That if you see a poor person receiving something, you should thank the Lord for that. I have a fundamental problem for that. And people can not vote for me if they believe that I am spending too much money on poor people of Dominica. If anybody feels so moved by the efforts of the government to assist poor people, and they feel that they want to get carried out so that they can pay attention to other people, then fine. But I will not change course until we eradicate poverty in this country and create a better way of life for every citizen. And this is why we were in Dubla yesterday, presented a check to pay for the salaries of the teacher and the assistant. And as a result of that intervention, we have created universal access to early childhood education in the villages of Dubla and Biosh. And we did the same on Friday in Tibo. And the same will be done next week in the village of Penville. We create universal access to education. So it means the children who and the parents who paid $150 per child would now pay about $20 just for supplies at the school. A dramatic reduction. And it means therefore the parents can take that $130 and pay the light bill and pay the water bill and buy snacks for the children to go to school. And of course, time will not permit me to speak about our efforts at mentorship and the creation of jobs in the economy. But we shall do so at another time.
You can always come back.
Always. I can slip in Silver Lake if I want. I have enough friends in Silver Lake where I can slip in many, many houses in Silver Lake and so forth. Many, many houses in Silver Lake I can slip. You understand? So I am one of them here. Those of you can go back to your homes after this, but I can stay back inside. But I am very, very pleased to be here. I wanted to come there, not to talk about the project, but to see the project started, see the project going on, so you can know that we're fulfilling our promise to you, the residents of Silver Lake, and to the rest of the country, that we made certain promises to. Be patient, your time is coming. May God bless you, the wonderful people of Silver Lake. May God bless our country, Dominica, and may God bless all our efforts towards uplifting this country. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon to everybody. Chief of all, good afternoon to our loving Prime Minister. Very ambitious. And is a good man with a good heart. Now, my here at this time is to say thank you. And thank you, I recall that, in saying thank you, I recall that all attempts have made to remove the people of Silver Lake from Silver Lake to somewhere under the mountain on the other side, or somewhere, I do not know where, but the intention, the great intention from all other operations beside the Labour Party government is to remove the people of Silver Lake to some cozy corner. Even I myself live here for this period of years, try to get water to my yard or to my house, I could not have got it because in the Freedom Party and other parties, they said to me they are going to mash up everything, so it's no sense to give me water and see that they are going to bulldoze the whole place. That was what I got from the other operations. Then when the Labour Party government got into power, I try again. Well, what I heard and what I received from them is that there was no sense that I should not get water. And then I got water. So what I'm saying to us in Silver Lake, I'm saying to us in Silver Lake, when many people leave Silver Lake and they go somewhere, they try to call themselves Upper Baffin State, they try to say they are not from Silver Lake, they try to cover it. But I am very proud to say that I am from Silver Lake. I am not from Baffin State, nor Louisville. I had been from Cochrane, my village where I left, and I feel more comfortable in Silver Lake than my village in Cochrane, where I came from. So then, I think we, the people of Silver Lake, should be very grateful. Grateful in terms that we haven't got the hope to be diverted to somewhere else. We can see a huge foundation is being laid down. And I know when the government under the leadership of our Prime Minister, Mr. Roosevelt Skerritt, whenever they plan something and whenever they say they are going to do something, it happens. It happens. Now, when I consider, I will touch every little thing because I don't go by books because my sight is not too well. Yes, okay, don't have a lot of time. But we need to acknowledge something. We say enough about Silver Lake and we are happy that we are getting Silver Lake on track. But when a man or men or educated people have to tell me the government is building a state house, the pride of the country, the pride of the country, and they are against that. So what is it? I would use the word and say, these are nasty people. So then with this, I will conclude by saying thank you to the Prime Minister, thank you to all his members in operation, and thank you for having me to have this little talk at this time. And Mr.